Hey everybody, welcome to Crackpack Tuesday, number 101 on the Mana League. I'm John as always, and we have another pack of Modern Masters 2017 edition. This is the last pack of Modern Masters, unfortunately, because I'm not made of money. So next week, we have one more crack pack, and I'm not sure what we're going to do there. I don't want to go back to Aether Revolt. I might see if I can get some old packs, and maybe we can do like a crack-a-pack extravaganza of 2 or 3 old packs or something. So stay tuned next week. I'm not sure what we'll do. And then, of course, the week after that, it's Amonkhet set review time. We will be deep into the Amonkhet set review. We'll be almost done the Amonkhet set review by that Tuesday. But we're going to crack into this pack, see what's in it, and see what we would take. Pack one, pick one if this was a draft. Up first is Pilfered Plans. Pilfered Plans is 1 blue-black for a sorcery. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Draw 2 cards. There's no mill deck in this format, so big whoop on that part. That being said, you could mill yourself if maybe you want to get a bunch of on-earth creatures, or maybe you're playing Reanimator. Maybe you have a Griselbrand and on Burial Rites, and maybe you just want to see if you can luck out and have them on top. Plus, it does draw 2 cards, so at worst, this is a divination. It is a sorcery speed, 3-mana spell that draws 2 cards. So it is a divination at worst. So it is still fine, but it's nowhere near first pick. So it can get out of frame. Chandra's Outrage is a weakish first pick. It's 2 red for an instant. Chandra's Outrage deals 4 damage to our creature and 2 damage to each, or that creature's controller. Solid instant speed creature removal. It's not unconditional, but it kills an awful lot in the format. So I'm pretty happy to have a Chandra's Outrage in my deck. I've been seeing these go slightly late, and I'm not sure why. It must be people who weren't around to play with this card. It's a solid card. Don't be scared off by that red. Call the Conclave is up next. Green-white for a sorcery to create a 3/3 green centaur creature token. So it's a 3/3 for 2. That is a good cost stats ratio. It dies really hard to flicker, but a lot of the flicker in this format, of course, is creatures that you control. So, you have to get hit with a Flicker Wisp or a Mistraven to really get beat out by this. But yeah, this is totally fine. I don't think I would first pick it, but I would play every single one that I can get my hands on when I'm in a Selesnya deck. Gnawing Zombie is up next. 1 and a black for a creature zombie for a 1/3. Pay 1 and a black, sack a creature. Target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This, along with Scorched Rusalka, is how you sack out a bunch of creatures, plus Golgari Rotworm, of course, to kill your opponent. It's one of the glue pieces of that deck. I'd be very happy to have these when I'm in that deck. I wouldn't super want to first pick it, but as soon as I know that's my plan, I'm going to pick up some of these along with the Rusalkas and the Rotworms. Next up is Slime Molding. X green for a sorcery. Create an XX green ooze creature token. Totally fine. Along with Call the Conclave, this is a great token producer if you're in kind of that populate deck. This is sort of the go big populate deck. Get a few really big tokens, populate them, and win. The other populate deck, of course, is get a whole bunch of little ones, get a bunch of birds, and get a bunch of centaurs, and get an intangible virtue and make them bigger, and just flood the board. But yeah, Slime Molding, not a first pick, but fine in the populate deck. Battle Rattle Shaman is up next. 3 and a red for a creature Goblin Shaman. It's a 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may have target creature get +2/+0 until end of turn. Very nice aggressive creature. If I'm planning on attacking a whole lot, this card is huge. It's a 2/2 for 4, which is obviously double costed, but +2/+0 to any other target creature, maybe a flyer, maybe a trampler, maybe a lifelinker, just super, super great. I would be very happy to play probably at least a couple of these if I'm in sort of an aggressive Naya deck. That being said, not first picking it. Attended Knight is up next. This pack is getting a little bit stacked on the tokens kind of plan. Attended Knight is 2 and a white for a creature human knight. It's a 2/2 with first strike. Right there, we've got a decent creature. 2/2 first strike for 3. Sounds good. It's no Ether Chaser, but pretty good. When Attended Knight enters the battlefield, you do get a 1/1 white soldier creature token as well, however. So it does come with a friend, so you are getting 3 power, 3 toughness for 3 mana, plus first strike, plus the ability to populate, plus etc., etc., etc. Attended Knight, pretty darn solid, nowhere near a first pick. Seagate Oracle is up next. Seagate Oracle is 2 and a blue for a creature, human wizard. It's a 1/3. When it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 2 cards of your library. You can put one of them, you must put, there's no can, there's no may. You put one of them into your hand, and you put the other onto the bottom of your library. Seagate Oracle, totally fine. It's a good flicker effect if you want to really quickly dig through your library. It's a 1/3, so it's going to block some early aggression, but it will get outclassed before too long. It's not a high pick, but if you're an Esper, if you're in Bant, you'll play at least one of these for sure. We do have a gate. I think our pack last week didn't have a single gate. That's weird. Golgari Guild Gate is, of course, a land gate. It comes into the tapped, and you can tap it for a black or a green. If it was black and green, boy, it'd be really good. But black and green, you can definitely consider first picking Guild Gates if you want to pick a bunch of fixing really high and kind of stay open. Maybe even head towards a 5-color good stuff deck. I'm not super sold on that plan, but if you want to have a lot of fun, you can definitely go with it. But we're gonna cut this one out of the frame. Maybe it comes back. Hopefully the pack gets a little bit better. We've been really lucky with our rares so far, but we'll see how this pack goes. Golgari Rotworm, 3 black-green for a creature zombie worm. It's a 5/4. You can pay a black, sack a creature. Target player loses 1 life. So again, like the what's it called? The Gnawing Zombie, and like the Scorched Rusalka, this is part of the Sacrifice deck. And this is a big one. You know, the Scorched Rusalka dies to a single point of damage. The Gnawing Zombie dies to 3. This, you gotta deal 4. Plus, this one can attack. This one can do some serious damage on its own. Golgari Rotworm is totally fine. I would probably not consider first picking it, but if you're in that deck, if you're in the sack deck, it's a key piece. Let's keep it in frame for now, but hopefully we get better. Teleportal is our first uncommon. Blue-red for a sorcery. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. You can overload it for 3 blue-red, which means that you change the word target to each. So each creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked this turn. Solid way to finish off an opponent, but blue just doesn't really get aggressive. The Grixis deck isn't an aggressive deck. The Grixis deck is like a control deck, and then win with like 1 threat. So I'm not really sold on Teleportal. I don't think it's a card that I would definitely not first pick and definitely not play most of the time, I think. Maybe if there was a Jeskai deck in this format. Our second uncommon is Familiar's Ruse. Familiar's Ruse is blue instant at an uncommon. As an additional cost to cast Familiar's Ruse, return a creature you control to its owner's hand. Counter target spell. Nope, not very great. There's way better ways of flickering. I've got something to show you guys in a couple picks. Wall of Frost, 1 blue for a creature wall. It's an 07 defender. Whenever Wall of Frost blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. I love Wall of Frost. It's an 07. It blocks basically everything in the format, and it keeps them tapped down if your opponent does decide to attack with it. I would consider first picking a Wall of Frost just because I do like really grindy decks, but I don't think it's a realistic first pick. You know what is first pick? Tarmogoyf. I will take $80 or whatever it is worth right now. Tarmogoyf is actually rather bad in limited. It's I should read it in case you don't know. Tarmogoyf, 1 and a green for a creature Lurgoyf at Mythic. It's a */1+ star. So it's an 01. Tarmogoyf's power is equal to the number of cards among cards in all graveyards, and its toughness equal to that number +1. So the reminder text really helps out, which is not on this card. But basically it counts creature, instant, sorcery, artifact, tribal, planeswalker, all the different types, not super types, not subtypes, but the types of cards in graveyard. So this starts out as an 01, and then it hopefully becomes bigger. But there's not a whole lot of things that are going to end up in the graveyard. So realistically, in most games early on, this is going to be an 01. Maybe it becomes a 1/2. Getting this as big as it can be in Modern just doesn't really exist. That being said, it's $80, so you're picking it. Our foil does not change our decision. Dregscape Zombie, 1 and a black for a creature zombie. It's a 2/1, and it has on Earth for a single black, so you can bring it back. So it's a good sack target for our Gnawing Zombies for our Golgari Rotworm. There's not much discussion here. We're taking Tarmogoyf and paying for a couple of drafts. If Tarmogoyf wasn't here, I think this pack would actually be... This pack isn't weak. It has a ton of the glue. It's got the Call of the Conclave. It's got the Gnawing Zombie. It's got the Rotworm. It's got the slime molding. It's just sort of... it's all the picks you want to see pick 3 and 4 and 5 and not really pick one. So I think I'd probably just take the Chandra's Outrage or maybe the Golgari Rotworm and pick a line. But we're taking Tarmogoyf. Come on, how can we not? Let me know what you would have taken. Would it have been the Tarmogoyf? If not, how are you made of money? What would you have taken beyond the Tarmogoyf? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. You can find me on Twitter is how I usually start this outro. Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at facebook.com/The Mana Leak, twitch.tv/The Mana Leak, and patreon.com/The Mana Leak. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.